Hello, everybody, and welcome to Silverline Silver Sunday. It looks to me like we are live on Instagram, y'all. So that's pretty exciting. I have it up over here, so I'm sure I'm one of the viewers. I got to make sure that my my volume is. Oh, it's only showing Mike though. Mike, make sure you give a thumbs up. Let's see if I change the view. Is that going to change Mike? Oh, it is. Hold on, let me see. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm playing with this because I don't know what the heck is going on with the Instagram view. So people on Instagram are already saying hello. What's up, Instagram? Thanks, y'all.
What can I say? I draw people in.
Instagram, again. Bear with me. I'm trying to figure out how to do the look there. If I remove you from
we
lost Roland.
Oh, now it's just me.
Oh, we're removing me. So, all right. Instagram people are probably laughing at me going, what is he doing?
No, I think they've seen their dad struggle with it before.
Let's see. Camera. No, that's just me picking my camera. I don't know why it's just showing Mike.
You're going to need some kind of OnlyFans model to come over and help you.
Let's see. Oh, I can remove Tom from stage.
Many people have tried.
So I see on Instagram, I see Conloke91 and Art of Victor Medina. Art of Victor Medina says hello. Hey, Con and Art, thanks for joining us. I apologize that you only get to see Mike. I don't know how to fix that.
My wife has been saying that for years.
We think Mike is a handsome guy, but we have no idea. I don't have any idea how to fit. It's because you're in the middle. I wonder if I do that. Hey, now I'm there.
There you go.
There you go. It is. It's the monkey in the middle.
So what I'm going to have to try. Oh, and it says Wednesday Wham. Good grief, guys. I got to fix that. What? Y'all are slacking up. You didn't tell me this.
You should really come to the meetings before the show, Roland. And Mike and I already worked this out.
Yeah.
So, all right, Instagram. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up with who's talking when we're talking. And until I can figure something else out. Hello, Instagram. Thanks for joining us tonight. Let's see.
And all you others too. Yeah.
That's right. All the others. Let's see. Art Atris Docs says, haha, come from Mike Belcher, stay for Silverline. Just three of you tonight, and then there were two. Actually, Florimonte says he's on the way. Oh, you know what? Let me change this up. I wonder if I do that. Oh, that changed the look.
Now you get my five head.
Yeah. So, oh man, I don't know. Instagram, I apologize to you. Whoa, that's nobody now.
This is like some random dating app where you don't know who you're going to get.
I think everybody knows that. Okay. I think everybody knows that everybody in this room is over the age of 50.
Yes.
So,
if not, it's certainly become clear in the last 40 seconds.
Well, see,
Most
I
definitely.
wish I could move. Oh, wait a minute. Is it letting me move? Oh, no. Just let me swap places.
You can see my cleavage.
Yeah, Tom's cleavage. Yeah. Woohoo. So it's interesting because I can hide the vertical from my screen, but I don't know how to make it change on Instagram. And I'm guessing it's just because Instagram is a phone. But see, now I have it back on that original setting, and it's not working. So
You look like you have the bat signal on, and somebody forgot to put the bat on.
Oh, you know what? I did actually.
That's right.
Oops.
The bat signal is a two-part operation.
Yeah.
I don't know why I have John Meddick's image up there. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Silverline Silver Sunday. I am your host. I am Roland Mann. And it's going to be a fun Sunday. As you can tell, it's always a fun Sunday with us. I removed myself. I didn't meant to do that. I don't know how to fix Instagram, and I lost all the viewers on Instagram. Oh my god!
Cut them all off.
Yeah. Why am I not surprised?
So I
no, you see, if you could just opposite, we could have our chins and their top of their heads, and it would almost be a full person.
Right.
What?
It would look like three monkeys in a trench coat trying to buy a movie ticket.
Yeah.
It's like this. Like, hey.
Yeah, and those of us up top need to do this right here. Hello, it's Graham.
If I had known this part of me was going to show more, I'd have combed my hair better.
I need a puppet or something so I can go, hello, my name is Thomas. What's going on?
I think we should go to Adrian Stocks' comment right now. Last one.
He said, second watch Roland trying to figure out technology all night. Yeah, let's don't. David A. Scooterez. What's up, David? Thanks for hanging out with us. He said, someone gave Grandpa the remote.
Yeah, they did.
Hey, Tabitha O'Neill, what's up? Just technical difficulties. You know, this is actually embarrassing because
No.
I can't remember. I think Tommy met Tabitha. She is now a former student of mine. She was my student last month.
Oh, is that who we chatted with the other day at the show?
Yep, at the show.
How you doing, Tab?
Yeah, I'm embarrassed that she sees all of my difficulties here.
No, I'm not. This is great.
You know what's
we were
funny?
talking about you at the show. She already knows you got problems.
Here's what's funny. All right, I have Tabitha's comment up on the screen. You guys can see it. But over on Instagram, it shows clearly the comment there. I wonder if I can run the banner. If you're on Instagram, join us on YouTube.
Yeah, that
Okay,
is.
there's
There's even more showing now on the Instagram thing. Oh, no, it's split in the middle. Oh, do it again. Press the
I
button.
do wonder why our show runs over an hour.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
Somebody's wondering why Charlie Brown is in the bottom right.
And Miss Alfmar is going to talk to you about that.
Okay, so let's see. Where's Silverline here? Let me edit here. All right, I introduced myself, but I haven't introduced you guys. Joining me over there is Mr. Kiss My Splash himself, Tom Mason. Say hi, Tom.
Hi, everybody. Nothing I say tonight will be able to top this first 5 minutes that we've had.
Tune over to YouTube.
He's still trying to work it
Are
out.
you reading that? That sounds like a hostage video.
No, it's Silverline Comics.
YouTube, I am fine.
See twice with your left eye if you're okay.
That's right.
There we go. I'm going to see if that shows up on the... I think it will. But we'll see. All right. Joining me and Tom is Tech Talk Troubles with Tommy, Mr. Thomas Flormani Jr.
Yeah, I was having
Tommy.
difficulties too. None of my sound was working at all, but I got it working.
My bat signal's still up there, isn't it, Mike? I didn't take.
It's bright.
I didn't take adequate time to fix my lighting tonight, and I apologize for all you guys.
I hope it burns a hole in the wall. That'd be my favorite thing.
It's got to.
If it starts turning brown there, somebody let me know.
It's like or if I see flames, maybe.
I don't trust these guys right here, chat. So one of you guys let me know if it starts burning a hole.
Maybe if you
we
smell
lost all my
smoke.
viewers on Instagram.
That's right.
If you smell smoke, then you probably should turn around.
I need to learn how to do that, I guess. And last but not least, MillertonGazette.substack.com. That man in the mask guy himself, Mr. Mike W. Belcher. Say hi, Mike.
I am the human blooper reel.
David A. Scooter says this is the most fun show yet.
Oh yeah.
Well, good night, everybody.
All right. Time for dinner.
That,
Gonna
right?
go get some meat.
Yeah, Tabitha says we got you. Thanks, Tabitha. I appreciate it. All right. So, any news other than the fact Roland can't figure out Instagram on StreamYard?
If only there were videos on the internet that you could watch that could help explain things. to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure. I'm gonna have to. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't. Literally, if I could show y'all my instructions on the screen, you would see I have one button. It says show vertical or hide vertical, and I can change the way it looks by doing things like this.
Oh my God, no!
What?
See, but I would have to swap back and forth to who's speaking if I did that.
Yeah, like a director does.
Yeah, I don't.
Camera 3, camera 4.
Right. I don't have the patience to do that.
What?
I'm going to let you off the hook, Roland. StreamYard is. Oh, I'm highlighted now. StreamYard has got some issues that have been going on the past couple of months or whatever. So,
I did not know that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
we're working on stuff.
I don't think that's Roland's issue.
Yeah.
I don't think so. You know what? I'm going to leave it on StreamYard just because. But I'm sorry. I'm going to leave it on Instagram just because. But hopefully, if anyone does pop over there, they'll see that it says go to YouTube. So maybe we'll get a few people from YouTube.
Here, I'll shrink down so my Instagram thing so they can see me.
And if you are coming from Instagram, let us know. Let us know that you spotted our bad video on Instagram and you wanted to join us.
Yeah.
Just to see what the heck are these guys doing. Yeah. All right. Well, yes, I see you, David. I'm saving time for last. Mike, did you say news? Any news?
Not well, other than the fact I got Man in the Mask 7 done last week.
Yeah,
I'm very happy about that. And Man in the Mask number 6 is rolling out still on my Substack. Good old millertongazette.substack.com.
That's right. So you guys need to get over there and
read comics
and support it. Because here's the deal. If you guys didn't realize, it's free. Mike offers this up for free. Now, there's a paid tier, and
I appreciate that.
And you should do it if you can, but you don't have to. He offers it up to you for free, so you should go get you some free millertongazette.substack.com. Tommy, what about you? Any news?
No.
Oh, you actually had a delay. That was interesting.
That's in case he swears.
Max Headroom. Yeah, I've got a 7-second delay on my stream.
Okay, now it's better.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
1, 2.
3 Florimonte.
Okay. And last but not least, Tom, what about you? You got some news?
Nah, I got nothing.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do. I got a Marvel nonfiction book coming out on October 15th.
Very cool. And
It's a
David Escudero says Tom has some amazing news. So tell us about this, Tom. What the heck is this?
So this is a look at the behind-the-scenes goings-on of the creation of Secret Wars, how it came to be, how it got put together, a lot of anecdotes from different people. Some of them are fairly new anecdotes that I got directly. And then it's an overview of all 12 issues and its place in the history of comics.
Sweet.
So it's about 25,000 words, close to, I forget how many pages, but it's a lot of pages.
So how did this come about, Tom? Tell us the origin of this book.
Well, it came to me. Where do writers get ideas? Well,
where do writers get ideas? Oh my gosh.
Well, I was reading Secret Wars as one does, and it's in their spare time. No, so what happens is I got a friend at Marvel Licensing, and he reached out and said I wanted to work with you, and I said, well, do you have anything that's kind of funny and snotty and smartassy?
Because that's you.
And because that's me, and because I'm not. I think we all know that I'm not an historian, and I'm not an educator, and I'm not. I'm not a writer of history necessarily.
But you are a snarky.
I am snarky, and I am a kind of a
smartassy. Yeah, there you go.
So we were kicking around some ideas about where I would fit in, and then he had this they have this book project at Bloomsbury, which is Paul Levitz is there. He's got a book, and Jim Rugg has a book, and Chris Ryle has a book over there, and a bunch of other folks are involved. And I thought, well, what I want is, because I don't know the 50-year history of Marvel continuity.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a pretty deep dive.
What? So do you know it? Do you know it up to Secret Wars maybe? Or
Yeah, I know it up. I know
Yeah.
it up to a certain point, and then I'm sort of scattershot about stuff.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of me.
Right. And so I didn't want to pick something that I didn't know.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick something where I could start from.
So did he give you some options? He say, I'm thinking this, and Secret
Oh
Wars.
no,
and this?
no! It's just like, go find me, go pitch something.
Okay.
And so I wanted to find something that was sort of self-inclusive, where the continuity didn't matter. And then I thought, there's a Secret Wars movie coming out next year, so maybe I should put on my business hat and do something that could tie in with the movie, even though the movie's going to be somewhat different than what Shooter came up with.
Right.
But I thought that I would go back and do Secret Wars, so I gave it a read and I pitched it, and everybody was like, "Oh, Secret Wars." And so, it's the stupid luck that I have. Somebody says, pitch a book idea. I come up with a book idea, and then they say yes. It's like there are thousands of people on Facebook going, I can't get anybody to read my stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you have a long career in comics and these 4 people, you can get a book.
Well, it's okay. So you guys correct me if you think I'm wrong. So one of the things that we teach at my university is networking, right? And I am constantly telling, and of course, I think I've told you, by the time they get to me, they're seniors, right? We don't classify like that, but that's essentially what they are, because they're like 3 to 4 months away from graduation. And so when I start talking about it, they start kind of rolling eyes, like, "Oh, we've heard all this before. Please, no, networking, yeah, we got it, right?" But I think that is one of the things that you have to beat into your brain, is that it is about networking. There's so much about who you know. Yeah, you got to know the chops, right? But
there's 2 things about that, because I agree with you 100%, obviously, because my whole career is based on who I know. But I think I couldn't have come up with a book on my own and just gone around to pitch it.
Right.
They came to me and said, "Do you want to pitch a book?" And I said, "Yeah." So they gave me the opportunity to pitch a book, but I still had to come up with the book that they wanted.
But they came to you because they knew you.
Right. Yeah.
Right. They didn't come to me.
No. Well, they hate you.
they didn't. Mike, they go to you.
No.
Tommy, they go to you.
I don't even know who they are. Who's those they people?
The Marvel people.
So, those guys.
But I've known the Marvel people that I'm dealing with. I've known them for 30 years.
Right.
So it's like, and this is the first, this is the first time in that 30 years that this has paid off. So it's like, that's a long game.
Yeah. It is a long game. Yeah.
But it wouldn't have happened if I ran into the Marvel people last summer at San Diego, and they're like, come over here. Yeah. And they don't have, like, my niche is, like I said before, it's the snotty smartass.
Yeah. Yeah.
People aren't writing that kind of thing. Everyone in the imprint is really sort of serious. Like, Paul Levitz's book is on the history of the newsstand and how it led to Marvel's growth in the 60s and 70s.
Oh, I bet that's good.
That's the book I really want to read. Yeah. But that's really serious, and that involves a ton of research and a lot of institutional knowledge. And he was there at the front lines as the newsstand system converted over to the direct market.
Yeah.
So he knows all that stuff. I don't know any of that stuff. I know
you know that it happened, and you can talk about it, but you don't know the ins and outs of it.
I'd have to read the book. But I do know that Ben Grimm is a fan of the New York Mets.
So,
and that's
well, so here's you know what? I don't want to call anybody by name. There is a book out there. Okay. It's just I was gonna say I saw these comments. I'm like, wait, what is that? There's a book out there that I have read. I think we've talked about it before. It is a history of Marvel Comics, and in there's about 3 pages worth of Malibu comic stuff.
Oh yeah,
It is full of errors.
yeah.
It is full of errors, and so I have a hard. So hold on now. I have a hard time when I see someone on the interwebs quote this book as fact,
Right.
and I don't know. My thing is this. I'm like, well, there were 3 pages of Malibu stuff, and that was full of errors.
Right.
So the rest of the stuff, the rest of the pages are probably full of errors too. But I don't know what's fact from fiction for the rest of those pages. But I know the Malibu stuff because I was there.
So there are 2 things that I would add into that. One is that if you're ever in an industry and you get covered by the press, they almost always get your industry wrong.
Yes.
I've seen cops, I've seen firefighters, I've seen guys who work at the shoe factory. It's like the reporter got everything wrong about how you make shoes. That's not how it happens at all.
Right.
And then there's the thing. I gave that guy an interview.
Did you really?
When we're talking about, I sent him documents, and I sent him emails and stuff,
screwed it up.
and it still
And
came
he
out.
ran something else.
Yeah, he ran because I think he got an opinion from people who had more juice than me,
Right.
which is fine.
Right.
But I had receipts,
Right. Yeah.
so I don't understand. If you want to dismiss me because I'm just me, that's fine. But I brought receipts to back me up, and it still wasn't in there. So
we dismiss you all the time on here, but
you should.
Yeah, but that was, and I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that you had spoken with, because I would have, had you told me that before, I would have said, wait, what?
Yeah.
I would have come back to you and said, hey, Tom, hang on now. In this book, here's what this says. Did you really say that?
No. It was weird. I was excited to get the book because I thought, oh yeah, this will represent, whatever.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
No, that's not how things happen at all.
No,
That's the version. That's the version the other people in the story tell, but that's not the reality.
Yeah, that was very frustrating when I saw that.
Yeah.
Atros Doc says, congrats, Mike, on Man in the Mask #7. He said, can confirm it is a good read.
Thanks, man.
It is.
Madness Entertainment Group. What's up, Pops? Pops says, hey, yo. What's up, Pops? Always can count on Pops for dropping us a hey, yo. And Atros says, oh, I need that Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars pre-order link. I have dropped it. You can't see me because I'm hidden behind your comment. I have dropped it in the links there for all of the places, YouTubes and Facebooks, and the Twitters.
Yeah, you can get his book on Amazon too.
Yep.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
you can get it from Barnes & Noble. You can get it from Crown Books. You can get it from any of the big retailers.
Yeah. So, and if the link there doesn't work, just Google Tom K. Mason Marvel Secret Wars.
Tom will send you a copy. He's got extras.
That's right. Well, it doesn't come out till October.
I was going to say he doesn't have any copies yet because the page I'm looking at says pre-order available October 15th.
15th, yeah.
Because I just finished proofreading it and sending it back, and I picked all the illustrations out. So.
Oh, nice. So let's sit here and spin for a moment because Secret Wars was fun. So, Tom, did you read Secret Wars when it came out in 1984?
Yes, and I will tell you that it reads a lot different then than now.
I'll bet.
Because that was 42 years ago.
Yeah. I remember liking it, but not loving it. And for me, and you guys know I'm a Marvel zombie. So for me, part of the problem was, Spider-Man from one issue. Oh, look, the Secret Wars happened. I have a new costume. And then the Secret Wars were going on. And I'm like, well, I already know Spider-Man #1 is going to survive. #2, he's going to get a black costume. It felt, maybe that for me, that was the first time I really felt marketed to.
Right.
I felt like, yeah, you guys are just trying, and I had never felt that. Well, yeah, of course, I knew they were always trying to get me to buy the other issues. But this continues in Defenders, this Avengers Defenders story. Continues in Defenders. I got that, whatever. But this was the time I really felt like, okay, you guys are really just trying to market me now. And so I liked the story. I mean, it was Mike Zeck and good stuff, right?
Well, I think for the regular titles, it was a good place for them to kind of reset without having to go through a year of a storyline.
Yeah.
That they were able to kind of jump, and it's like, okay, we'll read Secret Wars if you want to see how he got the costume, but we're going to go ahead and tell you the story about the costume now. And so that's what I liked about it. And I was, like I said, I was 12.
Yeah. And you weren't a Marvel. You weren't a Marvel zombie like me. You were a DC
at
guy.
the time I was reading a lot of Marvel, and really, Crisis is what made me a DC guy, which was really what Marvel Secret Wars was them trying to jump DC to the punch.
Yeah.
DC kind of let out to the world that they were going to do something like Crisis in 81, 82, and I think I've read a ton of stuff about that was Shooter's thing. It's like, we got to beat DC to this big maxi series.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that they basically line it up for toys. It was also a toy line. It was which is what comics worked during that time too. It was to sell things.
The great thing about Secret Wars is it came about only because Mattel wanted it to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't really connected to Crisis, because Crisis has a different goal than Secret Wars did.
Right.
Crisis was a very serious attempt to sort of reset DC continuity, and Wolfman had been researching it. I think when I interviewed him, he had been working on it for like 2.5 years.
Yeah, it was a long
time. Try to get it all squared away, and it was going to be like an event. And the Secret Wars existed basically just because Mattel needed an event comic to sell the toy line. And then Mattel abandoned the toy line, and it just became the Secret Wars comic where villains and heroes fight each other.
Yeah, which is nothing wrong with that either.
No, it isn't. And Shooter, to his credit, managed to get 12 issues out of just superheroes fighting supervillains.
Yeah.
And it's an incredible plot structure for how he does that.
Yeah.
Well, Crisis was the Coppola movie, and Secret Wars was the Michael Bay popcorn flick of the summer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I've always described it to people.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I wish I'd written that down and used it earlier.
Well, and we talked about Crisis before too. Crisis was that for me is when that was my jumping on point for DC Comics.
Yeah,
right.
Because I wasn't, I read we read Teen Titans just because it was Teen Titans. I mean, come on, George Perez, right?
Right.
But I'm trying to think. Was there another one that I don't think there was? But once they did Crisis, I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go all in, because I felt like I was, going to be there from the beginning. So Justice League, Flash, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. I got all of I got Green Lantern. I got them all. Atris Doc says, note to self: get Tom Mason's industry wrong in my doc.
Please, please, so then I can call up Roland and bitch at him.
David S. Gutierrez says it was a great jumping on point for FF. Why is She-Hulk a member now?
Because Ben Grimm said, no, I'm out. That's
why. Needed another big character. Strong guy.
And that thing series was good. I always enjoyed that thing series around that time. I don't think they, Byrne was writing it with Ron Wilson art. Good stuff.
Also, the Thing is the only character out of Fantastic Four who could make his own series.
Exactly.
The other three cannot do it.
Nope.
No. They would not stand.
No. I don't want to read a Mr. Fantastic solo series.
No.
I think he's great with the Fantastic Four, but I don't want to read a solo series.
No, and Johnny Storm is basically a sidekick, and nobody would ever do Sue Storm the way they would do it as a standalone series that would sell. They would always revert back to her as, the wife.
Yeah.
And they shouldn't do that. They should do something that really is, more fun and more interesting.
Yep.
That's it. It comes out October 15th. Everybody order it. I'm only going to talk about it 200 or 300 more times.
Yeah, everyone pre-order it because that will help Tom come this Christmas, because he's got to buy Christmas presents for adults now. So
That's right. And I got to get it. And I got to go pitch a second book. So
there you go. You already got the second book in mind?
I do.
Excellent.
I have two different options.
Sweet.
Awesome.
So.
All right. Let me remove this here. Stop screen. All right. So, any other news? So tonight's topic, finally get there, is the first 5 pages. If you are a comic creator, what do you need to have in the first 5 pages? What is a must have these things in the first 5 pages? What do you need there that benefits your story? What do you need there that's going to grab that reader and hook them and keep them in? What do you need in the first 5 pages? So you guys sent me a lot of images here. This kind of looks like a splash page. Let me see if I can. How can I do this? But anyone want to jump in while I try to load up all these images?
Well, I think the industry has changed so much over the last 50 years that the purpose, like when I was actually doing research and looking up splash pages this afternoon, it used to be because the comics were sold on the newsstand and they were impulse purchases that the cover had to be dynamic, the logo had to be readable, and then the splash page was essentially a reworking of the cover, but with more dialogue and more words that put the hero in some kind of jeopardy that would make you turn the page. So you basically had the front cover, which was hero in jeopardy or new villain punching the hero or whatever. And then you had the splash page, which was basically a mirror of that with a little more information. And then the story would start and it would lead up to what the splash page was. And that worked for Marvel and DC. They both did that. And then in the case of Kirby, he would do a splash and then he would do a huge double page spread. So his first three pages were, okay, I like this cover. Oh, look at that splash page. And then you turn to the double page spread and it's like, holy crap, this has all my money. And so Kirby only needed 3 pages. And then if it was a legacy book, if it was Batman or Spider-Man or whatever, none of those first 5 pages actually mattered because I was already going to get them. So where it matters now is the indie book or the unknown book or the first issue that I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
Because once I'm in the club, I don't need the first 5 pages. I'm going to buy it and take it home.
Right, you're there. Once Spider-Man has hooked you, once Batman has hooked you, you're there for the next issue.
Right. So if I'm a Spider-Man fan, there's no way I pick up the book at the shop, turn the page, look at the splash, and go, "Yeah, I'm not buying this." And,
Nope.
That's not even part of the equation. I'm gonna get it anyway. And if the splash page disappoints me, well, they'll just do it better next time.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me.
Or you're gonna say, "Ooh, this looks bad. I'm still giving you my money." Right.
Right. Yeah. Or no, it's a fill-in. It's a fill-in artist. It's some terrible thing, or it's a reprint issue or whatever. Nah, I'm still gonna get it because I want all the issues.
Yeah, but the downside of that with the legacy stuff is that Shooter always said it was everybody's first issue. If somebody who picked up the books will be somebody's first issue, and I think that's been thrown to the wayside a long time ago by both the big two because it's almost exclusively catered to the people that are just buying the books to put them in their boxes, or the ones that are kept up with the continuity or kept up with the stories or whatever. So I mean, they're not really behind the 8 ball as far as what's going on. But if I haven't picked up Spider-Man 10 years, if I pick it up now, there's no interest for me. I don't go because it's usually out in the middle of a story. Yeah. And there's nothing in the actions or anything. It's usually a talking scene that's kind of like, okay, well, it's still not telling me anything.
Right.
So, but like I said, it's great for continuing readers. But I thought that the component the comics have left out is that first buyer.
Well, I think the industry has shifted to the first buyer or the new buyer is the number one person.
Right. Yeah.
That's why the number one exists. Like real readers, new readers, are not going to pick up Spider-Man 420
No.
or Superman 850 or whatever. They're going to look for, here's the number one. Here's Spider-Boy number one, or here's, Spider-Gwen number one. And that's going to be their jumping on point. And I think I'm sort of torn. I can argue both sides of the, this comic book good for new readers or not? Because when I got into comics, I just jumped in, and comics were already at a high number anyway. Like I didn't know Superman's backstory. I didn't know Spider-Man's backstory. I didn't know the FF and all that stuff.
You had to learn it.
I had to.
And that was the fun part.
Yeah.
That was the fun part.
The fun part was I wasn't lost to the point where I got angry and threw it down and go, I'm never reading this again. It's too confusing. I was intrigued by the writing and by the art. So it was like, okay, I'm going to follow this along and see where it goes, and maybe I'll pick up the other stuff.
And I would argue for tonight's topic, I would argue you weren't lost because the first 5 pages did what they were supposed to do.
Yep.
David S. Gutierrez says to set the table, this is 5 out of 22 pages. Yeah, I would say this is the first 5 pages out of 20. I guess theoretically we could extend it to the first 5 pages out of even a larger work, a graphic novel, right? But we're talking about comics, first 5 pages of a comic. So yeah.
But you can look at it. I think when it's problematic is when those first 5 pages are expository.
Yeah.
And they're telling me a bunch of stuff, because I don't want my comics to be telling me all kinds of stuff. I want my comics to be showing me all kinds of stuff.
Show it. And that's it. I mean, that's the problem with a lot of them, is that they're written like sitcoms. And they're written like TV.
Yeah, 100%. Well, but here. All right, so let's sit and talk about this for a minute, because I talk about this in my class. I want to see if you guys disagree with me. So as writers, of course, so as writers, right, the thing we hear all the time is show don't tell, show don't tell, show don't tell.
Yeah.
Now, I make the argument that in comics sometimes you have to tell, but you don't want to tell in the way that comics did in the 1950s. Thor punches Hulk with a mighty blow. No, I can see that. What I want you to do is, when Thor's punching Hulk, I want you to tell me, why is Thor punching Hulk? What's going through Hulk's mind other than Thor's fist? Why Thor is saying, my God, or by Odin, his jaw is made of stone, right? I want you to tell me something that I don't tell me what I see, but because the pictures aren't moving in a sitcom, right? The images are moving, right? We get all these ambient sounds and those things.
And there's music, and there's laughter, and there's
little nuances that we do not get in comics. So sometimes you have to tell me, "Ooh, that smells terrible," right?
Right.
I can't smell it. I can't hear it. Oh, it sounds like you're listening to Def Jam, whatever, right? Because I can't hear those things. So you sometimes have to tell me, just don't be dumb about it.
That's right. You can't have, I don't want 2 characters talking all the time.
Right.
As much as I love Bendis's work.
Yes.
I let Bendis be Bendis. I don't want everybody to be Bendis.
Right.
And one of the things I like about Spider-Man is that I know that Ditko always left Stan Lee a lot of space, and Stan Lee sort of overfilled it.
Often he did, yeah.
But a lot of the expository dialogue from Spider-Man, and a lot of the predicament he was in, related to his Peter Parker identity, was exposed or exposited during the fight.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, so he wasn't necessarily describing the fight. He was fighting the villain. He's fighting, the Sandman or whatever. But he's also explaining, I got to get some pictures. I got a deadline. Aunt May is sick. I got to get soup. I got to go.
And Mary Jane is mad.
Mary Jane is mad. I got to solve all this stuff. So it's this weird juxtaposition of his Spider-Man fighting, but his Peter Parker fretting.
Right. And the thing is, right, this is the time where we get to see the action, but we're learning all this stuff about Peter Parker, about what's happening in his life, right? As he's trying to survive this battle with Doc Ock, right? We're learning about what's actually going on in his life. Why did Doc Ock land that blow? Because he's distracted, because he doesn't understand why MJ is mad.
and it's like the episode of Three's Company where John Ritter makes 2 dates on the same night, and he's got to go back and forth between the 2.
Right.
It's like, Spider-Man's got to fight the Dr. Octopus, but he's also on his way to apologize to Mary Jane and celebrate her birthday. So it's like he's got two things going at the same time.
Tabitha says, "Don't shy away from words." I agree.
Yes.
And I think that's the thing. That I think the struggle now in modern comics is that there's that struggle for balance. I think there's so much has been because of the shift, as Mike said, towards sitcoms. They're taking all the words out, and that's not a balance. That's a picture book, right? We stopped reading those when we were 4, right? I don't want a picture book. I want some words with my images, because I want to look at the pictures, but I want the words too.
But sometimes art by itself can tell the story. I mean, the writer can set the stage because sometimes that's impactful.
Yes,
I think, yeah.
Other times, though, the words will slow me down and make me look at the art more.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's. Yeah. I don't want to breeze through my comic. I want to sort of pause and enjoy it.
If I can read my 22-page comic in a 3-minute, 5-minute sitting, I feel cheated. I feel like I didn't get my money's worth.
But see, that's where we can play with time. That's where we can play with time, because we can't have that page that has no dialogue, that has no description, because we want them to feel that little bit of expediency that the character is going through. At least that's the way I come about it.
Yeah.
We have the ability to, contract and pull time.
Yeah. Well, and absolutely, if there are no words on the pictures, it's going to go just like that, right? But we're talking 22 pages. If I can finish your 22-page book in 5 minutes, I feel cheated. I feel that you haven't given me enough meat for my meal.
The genius of serialized comics, and I like to use Claremont as this example, is he used a lot of words and a lot of character-based dialogue and character-based emotion, but that became the anchor to get you to pick up the next issue.
Right.
Because he would drop like 5 or 6 plot threads in a single issue, in addition to the fight scene and in addition to all the other drama. Yeah. And then it's like, well, now it's like a soap opera, which he cribbed from.
Right.
You got to find out what's happening to all those plot threads in the next issue beyond just the villain of the week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, you want to be able to give your information, but I will always counter that imagery can do its own bit. I will always counter someone who says the book needs to be full of letters. Grindel,
I didn't say full of letters.
Well, I mean, that's what I mean by dialogue or captions or whatever to slow down the reading.
I think it needs words, but full might be taking it a little too far.
Grindel 1987 is a 22-page comic that will take you just as long to read, because it has 2 lines of dialogue in it. But to go through the entire book, you will take as long that you would read it because of so much information that's on the page.
See, there are always exceptions to the rule.
Exactly. I just wanted to say that there are exceptions.
Yeah, always exceptions to the rule.
I think Matt Wagner is an exceptional singular talent.
Right.
It's like as much as Bendis loves the words, Matt Wagner dispenses with the words, but they both give you a satisfying experience because they are a very singular type of creator.
Yeah, because like I said, what the Panda brothers did with Matt's script, and it was a script because they had to interpret a script for that issue. It's 22 pages of just epic storytelling. It really is. Like I said, there's 2 lines of dialogue on the first page and on the last page, and everything in between is expertly written. But there's not a word on the page.
Yeah. Matt Likes Comics says, "Hey everybody, what's up, Matt? Hey, you guys, I had an awesome I forget which day it was, Matt. You have to remind us. Chat with Matt the other day on his show. It was a blast. Mike, I hear you're coming up next. You are going to have a great time.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Yes,
looking forward to it.
So yeah, if you guys, if y'all, anyone on this channel here right now didn't get a chance to hear it, pop on over to Matt's channel. Matt, drop the link in there for us, and go listen to it, because I had a blast chatting with Mike.
And hey, Matt, if you want to talk Secret Wars in October, I know a guy.
Yeah, he just got here. He missed that. He said it was last Tuesday. Thanks. Yeah, my calendar is all wonk, Matt. So, yeah. So let's see. What was that date? October 15th.
Yes.
Yeah. So Matt, you should look at your calendar, see the closest Tuesday to October 15th, and get this guy right here come talk to you about all the
I'll talk
things.
about Secret Wars gossip all day long.
Yeah. All right, so here's a good question. I haven't had a chance to get to my questions yet. Atris says, do you all think the first 5-page hook applies as strongly today, given how strongly streaming has let people embrace serials? I have an opinion. You guys go first. Go ahead, Tom. What do you say?
Well, I went first the last couple of times.
Okay, Tommy, what do you think? You go first. Tommy's like, what was the question?
I was watching the basketball game.
No, what? It's we're referring it to streaming stuff. No, every episode, of a streaming show needs to have that little roller coaster hook at the beginning. I think it's the same with the comics. Yeah.
Those are called stingers, right, Tom? On TV shows.
Yes, but also you can. Crap! If you hadn't said that, I would have given you a better word. That's all right. But also, if you notice
cold open.
The cold open.
Okay.
If you notice, it's like every episode of Law and Order, they start with two detectives finding the dead body, and you don't know anything about what's going on.
Or NCIS, right? Something right. People are having fun, they're goofing off. Boom! Somebody gets killed. Boom! Dun 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 dun.
That's the hook. It's the same thing.
That's the hook.
That gets you in. It's up to the show to sort of bring it forward, but you can see it. You can see it in movie trailers now. They'll show in like a 90-second movie trailer, the first 10 seconds they'll show a bunch of images that look exciting, and then the announcer will say, "And now the trailer starts," and then they'll show a real movie trailer. But they've used your Instagram attention to grab you for those first 5 or 10 seconds, and that's sort of where we are now. And I think comic books have changed to the extent that you go to the comic book shop. It's all your pull list. You're not going to find many casual shoppers, really. But if you go to a convention, you pick up something off somebody's table, those first 5 pages and the cover is going to become essential to you finding something new to read. And I think that's
why I would argue that the answer to Atris's question is yes. I think it's still important because for the three of us here, Mike doesn't have to worry about his first 5 pages for us, for Man in the Mask.
Right.
He doesn't. He doesn't have to. We're there.
We're in.
I am there. But for all those people who aren't there for Man in the Mask, Mike has to be concerned with those first 5 pages. Yeah, he's got to fish.
I have to fish.
Yeah, you have to fish.
Go fish. I mean, I've been watching TV all day today.
Hooked, right?
Yeah.
So Atris, I think it's just as vital today as ever because you always want, I think anyway, you always want to build a new audience. You always want, obviously you want to take care of the people who are already with you, but you want to build a new audience, I think.
Yeah. You want to grow. You can't, there's no business getting a smaller audience.
No.
Or losing your audience, or being so clever and so obtuse that I don't care who reads it. I just make comic books for myself, which is fine, but you're not going to make that many comics.
Right. Just don't waste the time. Think about them in your head. If you're just going if you're the one person that you're making the comic for.
Go ahead. And what do you like to see in comics? Like I like to start. I like to have something that's I think an exception is Watchmen, which starts with like a 6 or 8 panel page, which is it's just captions. But they've marketed that so heavily beforehand, and it's Alan Moore, so I'm already in the Alan Moore club by the time Watchmen comes out. So he gets the benefit of the doubt. Like there's nothing here from a comic shop perspective that says I can't wait.
No,
I got to. This is all just a heavy lead in, but I'm already in the club because it's Alan Moore, it's Dave Gibbons, it's Watchmen, it's based on the Charlton superheroes, and I want to know.
Yeah,
I'm pre-sold.
Yeah, and what?
I'm pre-sold. I want it anyway.
And pre-sold, yeah. And I think that for me that was part of it for Watchmen was, hey, it's Alan Moore, right? It's like it's this big thing that's never happened before,
right?
And yeah, so I'm there, right? Fun fact: you guys probably know, but for those of you in paying attention to us, did you know that the entire 12 issues of Watchmen was done on using the 9-panel grid?
Yes, I think. Well, except for this is 8.
Except for this page,
it's still on the grid, right? So if you were to extend these down, right, and this panel here is the exact same size as this one and this one, right? So I'm not saying that there are 9 panels on every page. I'm saying he used this 9-panel grid and then blocked everything out. So if we turn the page and this one up here is one panel, it's exactly the height of these 3 panels.
Yes.
Yeah. The entire all 12 issues is done using that grid. We do have more pages up there, but I wanted to do a few things before that. Matt says Logo Scroll opens, and then he says the Lenny comment was always the best. I don't know the Lenny comment. Do you guys know what that is?
I wasn't paying any attention.
Oh, we're talking about cold opens, and he goes, the Lenny comment was always the best.
I don't know who Lenny is.
The only Lenny I know is Lenny and
Squiggy from Law and Order, right?
Yeah, Lenny Briscoe.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I call him Briscoe.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The Lenny
comment one little fun liner.
He was always making that smart ass comment.
Okay. Yeah. And I didn't watch Law and Order,
which is better than David Caruso's smart ass comment on CSI Miami.
Then I don't watch CSI either, so.
You missed a lot of good cold opens when you missed them.
I know. I guess so.
Who are you?
But the 5-page hook is important for indie guys, especially because if you've got my book in one hand and another book in the other hand, trying to decide, what am I going to put my hard-earned money into? I'd like to at least think that the first 5 pages says this is a Mike Melcher book.
It's kind of like you get to the top of the roller coaster, and then some 5 pages, and then let it go. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna start saying. So I think in the first 5 pages, I think one of the things that's incredibly important is action. Action of some sort. You have to be careful. For us, we have to be careful on our stream because people think we necessarily mean superheroes. That's not what I'm saying. If your comic doesn't have superheroes, you don't have to have superheroes. I mean action. I mean movement of some kind. I want to see the images moving. I don't need that talking heads. Right. That's visually boring, right? Yes, of course, some people can do it really great, but in general, it's visually boring. I want to see some kind of action in the first couple of pages, right?
Well, you and I are children of the 60s and 70s.
Yes. Yeah.
And those comics, they deliver that bang within those first 5 pages. And so you can't. And so I think I'm open to a different way for comics, but I have to see it because my default when I'm writing comics, I always default to the comics that I used to read and the TV that I watch and the movies that I watch, which is I want to grab somebody by the throat and drag them across 5 pages. And it doesn't have to scare them. It doesn't have to be weirdly gross or graphic or whatever. It just has to move and it has to get. I don't feel the need to explain all the back issue elements that led up to what I'm showing, but I do have to make it exciting and I have to make the characters interesting enough to make them want to stay, because I think all action is I think an action scene is also a character scene.
Right. I agree.
And so because if you watch a fight scene I'm in a screenwriting group on Facebook and they're always talking about, I don't have to stage a fight scene because the stunt choreographer is going to do it. It's like, no, you have to stage a fight scene because it's a character scene. The way the guy gets into the fight, the way the guy gets out of the fight, the result of the fight.
That's part of the storytelling.
The result of the fight has to push you into the next scene. And And if it's an early fight scene, then the way the guy gets out of it, you can use that trick again later.
Yep.
At a bigger scale.
You go,
And Spider-Man's not going to fight the same way as Punisher.
Right. And so you've got to, and like if you're writing the Punisher, you can't just say the Punisher shoots everybody because that's not interesting. You're gonna, and so it's why the writers of the 60s, sort of dropped the ball on Superman, because they always put him in a locked room and have him solve a mystery. It's like, well, I don't want my Superman to solve a mystery. I want my Superman to be the strongest man in the universe.
Right. Yeah.
And so I never liked Superman. I like Batman, because Batman, you put him in a locked room. That's what Batman does.
Yeah.
You don't put Superman in a locked room.
Superman just busts his way out.
Right.
Batman has to think his way out.
Yes.
So
anyway, I sidetracked us again.
No, that's good. No, that's kind of what I'm hoping. So the second thing I think has to be in the first 5 pages. I think we have to establish the setting. We have to know where we're at. We have to know the world that the characters are in, particularly if it's like a science fiction world or a fantasy world or something. We have to establish a world so that the reader knows kind of the rules of the world, right? I don't have to tell Dune was a planet, right? And but
I think you have to show just enough. Like, I don't need to know, like when in Blade Runner, the movie, I just had to see the design of the streets and the flying cars. Like that was enough. I get it.
The flying cars, I think, establishes the world, right?
You're like, that's the thing. I think some people think by establishing the world, it means they got to explain everything. It's like, this is how.
No.
So,
I would like to know a name. Not always. I'm going to say, is a lot of times I think a name is important. Where am I at, right? Is this Arrakis, right? But you can just say Arrakis. I'm like, I don't know what Arrakis is, but it's got flying cars.
Right.
That's cool.
But,
in
the case of Man in the Mask, Mike, where does it take place?
Takes place in Millerton in the section of Colts Corner.
Right.
And I make sure that the reader is well informed.
Yep.
Yes.
The pages I gave you for tonight, it was to set up, here's where he's at, here's where he lives, and here's some of the issues he deals with in 4 pages.
And you can
and look at it right there.
There.
Colts Corner.
You can also tell, though, from the architecture and from the coloring, the tone of the comic and sort of where in the U.S. it might be set.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of that exposition is just visual. It's not.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that I'm not even describing the place per se past the captions. Everything else, the dialogue is pretty much kind of giving you a guide what happened before you started reading the book.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things I think that's important for storytellers is that I don't need that I don't need you to caption dump on me.
No.
But I can't, the letters are too small for me to read here, but I what's happening is these guys are talking about how they got here. Right? They're talking about here's why we're here, here's why you got us into this mess. That's better than saying Bubba and Junior are there because their uncle hired them to go do a job. To me, that goes back to that show, no, don't tell.
Yeah.
These guys are telling us, but they're having a conversation that is revealing character instead of just in a caption.
Yeah.
Well, they're also doing manual labor, so that it's a blue collar gig.
Right. Yeah. And
so
it's at night, so there's probably something untoward about it.
And panel 1 is all the world building that I need.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm in.
I bet that's a great hardware store.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. Got a pretty good sales on it too.
All right, here's page 2.
Yeah, see, look at that.
Right? Now, and page 3.
See, I can tell I want this, and I'm looking at it really small.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But Mike's storytelling is very clear.
And then 4. boom, there's our guy, right?
In the first here's our money shot.
Yep. In the first 5 pages, boom. Okay, cool. That's who these guys are afraid of. I'm all about this guy. Give me more.
Right.
Yeah. There we go. Bravo, Mike.
Said, every book is somebody's first issue, and if you
100%.
You don't have to beat it to death, you don't have to beat the origin story over people's head, as long as you get the setting, and I think the theme of the book, the tone of the book, it could be anything.
Yeah, 100%. Mags Like Comics says Superman was always facing red kryptonite or being his friends in the Silver Age.
Yes, he was. There's a great website called Super Dickory that has.
Oh my goodness! Oh my gosh! David A. Scudero says Mike is phenomenally good at setting the stage quickly.
Thanks, David. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I think that we would agree with you, David.
Yeah.
All right. So, the other thing that I think you need to do, and of course, we've just established. Mike did it here within 4 pages, right? As I think we need to know who the story is about. I think if I've read 5 pages and your main character, yes, of course there are exceptions. The one that always comes up is Star Wars, right? Luke is the hero of Star Wars, and I think we don't meet him until 10 minutes in or something like that, 15 minutes,
right?
Something like that. Of course, there are exceptions, but in general, I think we need to meet the protagonist. Right, we need to meet who the story's about in the first 5 pages.
Unless
I might argue. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
Unless the robots have secret messages that they have to carry down to the planet.
Right. It's like, well, it's funny because I always argue that part of the problem a lot of writers have, and particularly Southern writers, right, because Southerners like to tell stories. We just like to tell stories. Right?
You're campfire guys.
Right. But the problem is like, all right, Tom, I'm going to tell you a story. But before I tell you the story, I got to tell you this. Right. And I think this is the problem a lot of writers have. They're like, I've got this cool story I'm going to tell you. But before I tell you this story, I need to download all this backstory on you. It's like, no, I don't really need all of that.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't need it. Just tell me the story. Get to the
one
story.
thing. The one thing that Star Wars does really well is that he gets out of the scene as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
To get you to the next scene, so he gives you just enough information to go, "What's that about?"
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you're following the robots down to the sand planet. And it's like, well, "What's that about?" And then all of a sudden, Luke and his uncle are buying robots. And it's like, "Well, what's that about?"
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, R2-D2 has run away from home and he's off into the desert looking for Obi-Wan. It's like, what's that about?
Yeah.
And so and they're very quick cuts, and he keeps it moving.
Yeah.
It's the essentials. You're boiling it down to. Like I said, I always go back to Elmore Leonard. He doesn't write the things that people just skim over, because why waste that paper? Why waste that timing? Yep. Just get to the essentials. That will tell your story if you let it. You don't have to fluff it up a little bit.
In laid out early, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tabitha says, rabbit trails for days. Yes, that's very true.
The great thing that Elmore Leonard does is, in his books, he lays out the star character and the villains early on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're anticipating, I know they're going to get together, and I know something bad's going to happen, and you're sort of on the edge of your seat to see how he does it.
Yeah.
And because I'm reading La Brava now, which I hadn't read before, and he's got a great character who's not a private eye, but who's definitely going to be acting like a private eye very soon, and he's got a bunch of villains who are after some stuff, and I know that their paths are just about at the point where their interests are going to commingle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, this is one of the things, I don't know if you guys have ever read any Andrew Vox, but this is one of the things I like about Andrew Vox as well, is that I know that Burke, boom, right up front, Burke's my guy. He's the guy I'm going to be following. Right. It's his story that he's going to take care of. Right. So
also, it says on the front cover, a Burke novel.
It does say a Burke novel, yeah.
Oh, you know exactly.
Yeah, Agent Go. What about the first 5 pages? Yeah, we're talking about it. We'll get there. All right. So those are things I threw out there before I get to these pages. You guys got anything else? Anything else you think needs to be in the first 5 pages?
Yeah.
Okay, what?
I think the personality.
Yes.
Okay.
I think whether it's like there's something about a Frank Miller book that you know that's Frank Miller's personality on those first 5 pages, and like Mike when he does his book, I read it and it's like that's the Mike that I talk to. that's the Mike that I know.
Yeah.
But it's because everything Mike tells me that he loves about story and storytelling that comes out in his book.
Right. Well,
Claremont, you talk to Claremont. Claremont's a wordy little bastard, but he's that way on the page too.
Yeah.
He's very chatty, but he's also in the same as the book. So a Claremont book is very distinguishable from like a Doug Mensch book.
And Howard Mackey mentioned that, which, by the way, that was a great week last week, wasn't it? Howard Mackey talked about this last week, right? Is that he went back and read, I can't remember which 3 books he mentioned, but he read 3 of his books. He said, hey, they all sound like me.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing too. If I'm writing something completely different, not everybody can sound like me. Because otherwise I think I failed.
Yeah.
Because I haven't told different stories. I've told the same story from the same guy's perspective.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons things like when Claremont had Wolverine say bub all the time, right? That's something, we can laugh at it and say, yeah, well, but it's something that helps us really. Okay, that's Wolverine. That's Wolverine. Wolverine's the one that says bub, right?
Well, and Nightcrawler was always talking German. Mein Gott.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's
but the
how
thing
I learned German.
If you read the collected editions, it's almost comical how many times they say it. But if you read it monthly, with 30 days in between your bubs, it's not bad at all. It's just a reminder that sometimes Wolverine is going to say bub.
Well, it also helps too because that way when the smart aleck villain comes in here, he goes, "Yeah, I'm going to take care of you, bub," right? And can kind of poke fun at him.
Yeah.
So David Gutierrez says Vox throws you into the world in 2 sentences. I agree.
Yeah, and I think what I look for is like I don't want a blanderized comic book experience of just a good story. I want some personality from the writer, because the thing about indie comics is I buy them because of the indie creator. So I want some of that personality. Yeah, I don't want it blanderized by corporate comics. I want it to be.
Yeah, I don't want Mike's Man in the Mask to read like Superman.
No.
And I would write Superman differently than I would Man in the Mask, because they're 2 different characters.
Yeah.
Although I've said before that if I was in charge of DC, I would hire Mike to write the Justice Society.
Yeah.
So. Because I would like Mike's take on those guys.
Mike, expect that call as soon as Tom is hired.
As soon as I'm in charge, my career is on the upswing this year, so I expect greatness.
Which one would you hire me to write, Tom?
Which one would you want to write? Because I know which one I want.
I'd have to think about that a little bit.
I would do Wildcat.
Oh, that's interesting.
Nice.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So
I think I could have fun with that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think if he was a boxing guy, but then I think boxing is the least interesting part of Wildcat.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I would do Wildcat, and I would do it as a period piece. It would never sell, but you would be my guy.
I would put you in a Wildcat Adam, Golden Age Adam
that would
buddy
be
book, buddy book.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Do it like
Adam
Mattis would do with Blue Beetle and Booster Gold.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They play off each other so well. Yeah,
that was kind of my first thought.
I would love to see you write that.
Yeah, that's where I'd put you.
Yeah, fun. Let's see here. Agent Cubs, says sorry I missed last week's show. Yeah, it was a good one, but you can catch it on the rerun, not rerun, but on the you can Google it and find it on our channel here. Atris says 30 days in between your bubs. Yeah, that was a great line there. Matt Likes Comics says bub is not something a Canadian would say. He'd call him buddy
or hoser.
I thought that was something Midwestern people like Indianans would say. You hoser?
That's Hoosier.
Oh, you're right. It's Hoosier. Yeah. Matt Likes Comics. You said it, guy. I didn't catch a misspelling there. Matt Likes Comics says JSA rocks.
See?
Agent Cub says they used to say bub a lot in the early 1900s.
Yes. Hey, Bub. What's going on, Bub?
I'll have to take your word for that then.
And Bub was William Frawley's character in My Three Sons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Bub?
I know too much.
Yeah. I'm I saw the show, but I don't remember it that well. All right, let's pull some of these pages up here. Man, our clock is just always does this, doesn't it? All right. What do we got here?
Oh.
The splash page from House of Mystery. So what House of Mystery used to do is they would, and same with House of Secrets at DC, is they had 3 little horror stories that were like Twilight Zone horror stories, but they generally opened up with a giant splash page of spooky stuff done by Wrightson or Kaluta or one of the young whippersnappers. And that would, I mean, how could you not buy a horror comic if that was your first page?
Yeah. Yeah, and also the text is hard to read, but I can see this is a little bit bigger. So he says, I was just about to read this cute little tyke, a bedtime story, so why not listen in?
Right. Yeah, and then it's about giant ants that eat your awful mother or something. But so it's what, and they don't have the 8-page horror stories don't have splash pages. They just have an opening page. It's usually like 3 panels, a main panel with the title. So this serves as the splash.
I couldn't look at that though. Jeez.
Yeah. All right. This is a classic one, isn't it? Yeah.
How do you not want to turn the page? How do you not want to buy that?
Yeah. Yeah, but also, don't you think if the title has something to do with that as well?
Yes.
Right. Because if this was just a thing standing in the rain, if you remove the title. Okay, things standing in the rain. He's not going to melt.
It's the genius of Stan Lee. It's what he brings to this. He's got the words across the top. Then he's got the headline, "This Man, This Monster," and it's got basically this is what the hell's going on.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
and the mood is established right. I mean, you're not even blinking before you get the mood of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also we know the Thing is the hero. So this man, this monster, why is he now the monster?
Why is he a monster? Yeah. Agent Cub said, plus how can you pass up Wrightson? Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah, absolutely. David A. Skura says, do you think the first 5 pages should be self-contained or ask a question to be answered later in the book?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Do both.
Yeah. I'm not saying self-contained as much. If it sounded like I was suggesting that's not what I was meaning. I think it has to have all those elements to make you read further.
And I would argue that depending on the story you're trying to tell, you could do the splash and the double page spread of stuff, and then pages 4 and 5 could be an entirely different scene.
Yeah.
And so it just depends on where you want to tell your story.
Yeah. I was trying to think of the double page spread that I had in the first Silverline team up. I really liked. I'll get to that in a minute. All right, so what are we seeing here?
Jim Aparo. I mean, look at the angle. You're at the top, bird's eye view, top looking down.
Yep.
And you've got Batman, who's like, well, I'm trapped against this wall, and then you've got Supergirl, who doesn't generally team up with Batman.
Yeah.
So why are they teaming up?
Right.
Yep.
There's stuff going on.
And not only that, right? Hold on, Supergirl. One step closer, and you'll see Batman die before your very eyes.
Right. Which we know is not going to happen. But now I
want
to figure out. But the trick is, how's he going to get out of it?
Right. We know he's not going to, but
does she save him or does he save himself?
Right.
That's what you want to turn.
Yeah. All right. What do we got here?
Almost no background except a giant rock.
I know.
And you've got a giant talking, thinking gorilla with a weapon, and you've got Commandy sneaking around the side of the rock. It's like there's going to be some trouble.
Yeah.
So I'm in because it's. I mean, really, how could you not? There's a giant gorilla.
Well,
who talks.
I'm gonna harp on the text. Look, I think I can read this. He says, "Show yourself, little doggy. I know you're there."
Right.
And then Commandy's like, "I've wandered into a trap. My only chance is to come out shooting."
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So I know the double page spread is going to be a fight.
Right? Yeah. I am turning because I want to see that, right?
Who doesn't want to see a boy fight a gorilla?
What are we looking at here?
Another splash that basically repeat. I wish I'd posted the cover, but I didn't. But it's basically a repeat of the cover where Superman is, in danger from the hot woman, and we got to find out how it happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Was that was that one of y'all? Is this in this group where Superman's hugging the woman, and we're like, hey, what's going on with Superman? Was that not in this group? Okay.
It's not in this group, I don't think.
Okay.
Unless it pops up right now.
Yeah. All right. What are we seeing here?
It's Superman and the Flash. They classic team up where Superman, the Flash is like in a big hurry, and Superman's just hanging out, looking like he's working on his thesis.
Yeah.
and so there's going to be trouble
for Flash to catch up.
Yeah. Right. And here's the text, right? Yeah. Superman, do you realize the fate of the world may depend on our mission? Readers, there is something dead wrong here. This man is not Superman.
Right.
What?
That's the key to that kind of things. What the hell?
Right. What? He looks like Superman to me. Right.
And
clearly Flash thinks he's Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's drawn in the classic Superman style. He's got to be Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Matt
looks like Superman's just checking his blood pressure or something.
Like a gorilla. Star Sapphire Superman 261. Look at that. He knew exactly what that was from.
Matt does like him.
Agent Cub says, I love the covers from the 70s. The covers told the story and made you want to read the book.
Because I was
100%.
I was too young to understand really, but almost all of these splash pages and covers were like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But in a good way.
Right. Yeah. All right. What's this one?
It's great. It's two characters just getting ready to pound on each other.
Yeah. And it's a classic high above the city, right? The two flying characters high above the city where you see the cityscape below them.
Yeah, if you were drawing Superman in the 70s and 80s, you had to draw a cityscape.
Yeah. I'm trying to read it. Why don't you just admit it, Superman? You've been laying into me for a good half hour, and I'm still taking it.
Right.
And I'll keep on taking it for as long as you can dish it out, because there's nothing that can stop the Erg Master.
Well, the names could use some work.
Yeah, a little bit.
They could have workshopped the names a little better.
I think that says Erg Master.
Well, comics have their quirks.
All right, we saw Watchmen earlier.
Watchmen page.
Yeah.
Look at that.
All right, what do we got here?
You got the Ditko Spider-Man. That's a splash page, and it lays out everything that's going to happen in this issue.
Yeah.
This is what you're going to see.
Yeah.
You're going to see Angry Boss. You're going to see a bunch of humans in trouble. You're going to see Dr. Octopus, I believe, and then the weird creatures on the upper right corner.
and Peter's overwhelmed.
Yeah.
He
doesn't have his mask on.
Shoulders.
And he doesn't have his mask on. Yeah.
He might be getting ready to quit again.
So you got to read it to find out, is he really going to get unmasked? No, it can't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Because back then in the comics, his secret identity was a big thing. It's not in the movies. And I'm really looking forward to this next movie, because I think this next movie is going to capture some of this.
Let's hope.
I mean, fingers crossed, right?
Yeah. I'll be there.
Yeah, I mean too. But and that's I think we've talked about this on the show before. That's one of the things that I have. That's one of the problems I have with a lot of the kind of the modern superhero stories, is that everybody knows their secret identities. It's like, okay, well, if everybody knows your secret identity, what's the point?
Yep.
It's just an identity at this point.
Yeah, it's just a change of clothing, right?
Right.
So why are you wearing the mask?
Yeah, why are you wearing the costume or anything?
It's to protect my mother and my girlfriend.
It's like, no.
Yeah, Peter, I know where you live, buddy. You don't need to put all that on.
Yeah. Here's another one. What do we got here?
Spider-Man's running away from the villain. You got J. Jonah Jameson calling him a coward. It's like, okay. And also another Stan Lee headline: "The End of Spider-Man."
Right.
It's like,
what? And of course, J. Jonah Jameson here saying, "No one will ever laugh. I told them Spider-Man was a heel, a cowardly quitter. right? The world knows I'm right.
Threat or menace?
Yeah. Ooh, that one's small.
That is tiny. So it's basically just Electro zapping the crap out of. Is it Electro?
That's the Tinkerer.
The Tinkerer. Yeah, the terrible Tinkerer.
Yeah, there it is. Zapping Spider-Man.
Don't say that too fast.
It's a great page where the Tinkerer looks just like somebody's uncle.
Yeah.
And you know that Stan got this page back from Ditko thinking, okay, what's this old guy doing here?
Right.
Because, it was probably just some plot that Ditko put into 22 pages and completely choreographed the whole, thing. And then Stan's looking at it thinking, okay, he looks like a tinkerer.
Right.
Yeah.
he looks like a guy who tinkers.
Yeah.
It looks like Spider-Man's foot's backwards there. Doesn't it?
Well, he's getting zapped by electricity. That'll hurt you.
Yeah. All right, what do we got here?
That is from Man of the Mask number 6. I decided that, you needed to have a crash course, what the last page of issue 5 was, and let's get things going. I'm not messing around.
Yeah. And, it goes back to one of the things we talked about, action, right? There's action, boom, right here.
Right. What's going on?
Yeah. I'm giving you the tone of the story. The issue was nothing but action, and I start off slow.
Boom, and it's 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
Right?
The dead clock, but it was supposed to be figurative, but yeah.
High noon.
What's this one here? What is that?
Bob asked for a link for the show. So
oh my gosh. All right. Mike supplied us with some Eisner. What do we got here?
We talk about 5 pages. Eisner did a whole story in 7. This is kind of like Name That Tune. I could do it in 7 pages.
Right.
Not 22. And this was, he customarily had no cover because it was an insert in the newspaper. So that very first page of the insert had to grab your attention. So here we go. We got the Spirit is dressed up in a tux. So is the commissioner, who never wears something like that. They're being announced by a doorman. This story takes place in high society. What's going on?
Yeah.
And you're being fed these little bit of info that he's trying to capture your attention.
And they're being introduced. That's a high society thing. No one introduces anybody when they walk into my house.
Also, it's got the very high door like a castle would.
Yep.
And it's also got the special window in the background that looks like a rich person's window, as opposed to or a museum window, not a regular house window.
Yeah.
And so
absolutely.
So obviously the Spirit and Commissioner Dolan are going to be sort of out of their usual element.
Exactly. Dolan's pulling on his collar. He hates this. He's uncomfortable. Yeah. It's like, like I said, there's a ton of information right there on that page that Eisner would just screw, like I said, so fast to give you.
Yep. Atris says, I have to drop. Thanks for a really great show. Remember to wait at least 30 days from bub to bub and make mine Silverline. Absolutely. Thanks, Atris. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, Atris. We'll see you next Sunday. All right, what do we got here? Another Spirit one, right?
Another Spirit one, just because there you go. It's just a beautiful piece of picture that you want to turn what's next.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, the thing I like about it is, for the time, a lot of superheroes did not look like that.
No.
Yeah. And so, and we're certainly not that well drawn. And so I mean, he's clearly not Superman. He's clearly not Batman. He's clearly not, the Flash or whatever.
Right.
But he is still a superhero.
Yep.
Or a crime fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
And what do we got here? What's this one?
This is get you in the story. This isn't a splash page, but this is something that, something's bad happening. You got this mood. It's instantly setting pace for the rest of the 6 pages.
The 6 panels of Eisner that always work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's. That's
almost like a black and white movie at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, man, our time flies, guys. We just have so much fun here. Yeah. So, what about anything else? You guys think?
I would say. I would say to try something. I would. Well,
I'm gonna add one of mine to the thing. All right, this is from Team Up that me and Tommy worked on. This is the second issue. I didn't have the first issue up there, right? So All right, in the first issue, I think we establish our setting, right? We see where we are. This is Miss Fury. She's obviously going through some stuff, and then turn the page, and there's a big what's going on, right?
Right.
We think there's going to be a fight, but instead he ends up helping her out.
Yeah.
Right. But here's also, right, we see the city. We know where we're at. It's at night because we see the moon there. Right. So anyway, I was blessed to have Pete and Tommy and Roberta on the art on that one. So
we'll work on that third issue soon.
Yeah. I need to hit Pete up and see how he's doing. All right, guys. Any final thoughts on the first 5 pages?
They're important. That's just if you want to hook your reader, you're hooking the whole point of the story. I think the 5 pages, it shouldn't be your prime concern, but I think that when you're concocting your story, I think that you have to kind of factor in on some of these elements because it's again, you're trying to get your reader engaged.
Yeah. And I think, go ahead, Tom.
Well, I think you can also, if you're a writer, you can also work backwards. You can write your story out and then go, where's the most exciting part of this story? And could I tease that in the beginning and then sort of move it there? Yeah. And I think you don't have to know these things immediately, but when you get your script done, or you should take another look at it and figure out who can I entice with these first 5 pages and how can I make them enticable? Yeah.
And I think one of the dangers, one of the problems with writers today is there's too many assumptions. You can't assume that your reader knows exactly what you're talking about. So you do have to feed them some information so that they'll know. You don't want to risk them not knowing over the idea that you're going to try to be clever.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes a lot of the exposition, a lot of the questions, like where we are, what time of day it is, and some of that stuff can be answered by the art.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so don't be afraid to let the art carry some of that forward.
Yeah. And like in Mike's pages, I think one of the things is to have a lot of those things answered in dialogue, have characters having a conversation,
right,
that tells us some of this. You don't have to have a caption that says, New Orleans. The guy can say, I can't believe your girlfriend made us drive all the way to New Orleans to drop this stuff off. Ooh, right. I know where we're at, right? And I know that they're delivering something that they don't want to deliver. They don't want to be in New Orleans. They made a long drive. All right, there's so much packed in just the conversation, right? So
yes,
yeah. Okay. Anything else?
I got nothing.
We're good. We really covered a good base.
Yes,
we did.
That was a lot of fun.
We filled our time.
Okay, on Tuesday, Beyond the Stars launch party. Join the crew from that Silverline show on Tuesday as they launch issue number 5 of Silverline's popular series Beyond the Stars. Ron Fortier, the series writer and co-creator, he's a part of the Tuesday group. So you guys get over there and make sure you pepper him with questions so that he can answer them. Wednesday, I have no clue what they're going to be doing Wednesday. Only thing I know is Barb won't be there. Next week,
a good selling point though.
That's not a good selling point. Next week we are going to have guest Jose Marzan Jr. here. I've talked to Jose last year at Heroes Con, and we see him kind of locally here in Florida sometimes, and I've been on him. So he has agreed to come on and chat with us. That is next Sunday, right here. All of your same channels, except maybe Instagram, which we had people pop in and out of on Instagram
because all they can see is our foreheads.
They can see this much of Tom. They can see about this much of me. They can see Tommy from about here down, and they can see Mike from about here down.
Got my waddle. So
Well, the difference is when I pop up a comment like this, then everything kind of shifts, and you can see some of the stuff. So Matt Likes Comics says, "Great show, guys. Thanks, Matt. Really
Matt.
appreciate it."
Hey, Matt.
All right, guys. Hey, Tom, what are you supposed to tell them every week?
Oh, I'm supposed to tell you guys to like and subscribe.
That's right.
Because the potato is not here.
That's right. We depend on the potato, and he's not here. I'm gonna have to call him out again. All right. Until next week. Remember to make mine Silverline. Good night, everybody.
Hey, this is Paul Pelletier. Make mine Silverline. Is that okay, Roland?
Well, that was